My fellow panelists, Mr. H.L. Bajaj, Mr. R.K. Kapoor, Mr. S.S. Rao, Mr. Navneet Munot, all my regulatory colleagues, members of SAFIR, and distinguished delegates. In fact, Mr. R.K. Kapoor has made my job very easy because he has told about all the initiatives NTPC has taken in the SAARC countries in the South Asia region. This afternoon session is talking about cross-border opportunities. Because I don't think we need to dwell too much upon the earlier part, what are the opportunities for investors from India to go to other countries and do that. That we have been covering, and also the problem that we have been facing in India, I think that we had done. So I'm just going to confine myself to the cross-border opportunities. And again, based on my personal experience, and also the experience that my wife, who was a career diplomat, and she was dealing with the neighboring countries, so what she faced there, and how the things have changed today. Because she was the Joint Secretary BSM. She used to deal with Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Maldives, 2002 to 2005. And in that period, that was the most difficult period. And now you can see the fruits of all that was going on. So how is it the geopolitics which decides what can happen? In fact, I remember way back, I had joined Ministry of Power in '88, and I used to deal with hydro. And we had gone to Kathmandu for our Karnali negotiation. That time World Bank had funded a feasibility study. And the whole negotiations were at what price that electricity will be purchased. And the model that World Bank consultant had prepared was based on social benefit cost analysis. Now, the whole thing is that in an inter-country, social benefit cost analysis does not work. It is only within you are doing intra. So that was the negotiation. So obviously, the idea was that for the irrigation water, also those benefits had to be paid for. And obviously, we know that still Karnali still remains a dream. So this is a very good example of what can not happen in Nepal. And we'll have to wait for Nepal to settle down politically. Then only things will happen. Whereas if you see, Bhutan is a very good example. In fact, my wife was lowly undersecretary when she was dealing with Bhutan. That was way back in 1979. That period she dealt with that. And that time Chukha had already happened. And after that, Bhutan is a very good example how it can happen. In fact, the Bhutan has become a model now for some of the states in India. Like Sikkim now sees itself as a Bhutan, no? That within the country itself they can export electricity and the economy of the state can improve. So Bhutan has handled it very well. So I'm not dealing with the other issues like the model that they adopted for the electrification in the remote rural areas. In fact, that is something a lot one has to learn. Now, Bangladesh is also another, again coming back to my personal experience. In '89, when I was handling the gas-based power station. Now this Tripura gas-based power station, that time the real problem was how do you transport these machines there? It would have been very simple if the Bangladesh would have allowed us. And that did not happen, and we know finally now the plant is coming up, but all this delay has been because of that. And now the things have started happening, and obviously the river water issue is very important between India and Bangladesh, because in fact a lot will depend upon what will happen in future, those opportunities, because in fact for NTPC will be very keenly watching that about the Tista water something could be done. So we again enter into that area of this thing. Whereas Sri Lanka, there was a working group set up, and in fact, one of those my wife's visits, I also accompanied her. And that time, this blueprint was prepared, and that one can see is now being implemented. And also, there is a talk about that if you could have a marine link, and then it will be possible to integrate that. Of course, now I'm not dealing with the transmission opportunities. If we want to operate it as a grid, complete, then obviously we'll have to go into a completely different area. Pakistan, obviously, we have a really special case. We have been talking about the gas pipeline, but this is a much more difficult area. So I thought that I'll just highlight that in the context of the bilateral relations, how the geopolitical situation changes, many opportunities can arise. We have to take advantage of that, but we have to be also aware of these realities. So I'm not going to talk more because we'll have some time for questions and answer, but I thought I should, based on